Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the Steelbooks from the Doctor Who, the modern series if it enters the collection range, and we'll talk a little bit about classic collection range as well. So the Steelbooks, we haven't really had any lately with Modern Who kind of completed its Steelbook run apparently. And we haven't had any new animations to get Steelbooks from, like the ones I have here. I have the Modern Who Steelbooks here out of camera range. I've always been surprised they haven't re-released some of these Steelbooks after Season 8, because the series 1 to 8 Steelbooks seem to have a style, you know, with the Doctor and Companion on the front, and then villains on the back, and then later villains and companions on the back. And series 1 through 8 feels like kind of a set pattern that works. Whereas the later, well, I won't say later, the later seasons Steelbooks, even though some of them came first, like I think the first Steelbook was the Series 9 one, take different approaches. Now the Series 9 Steelbook I don't have, I wish I did, but it's just insanely expensive on the secondary market, like way too much money. And I'm sure there's a lot of us that would love to get our hands on it, but we're not going to pay those prices because that's just ridiculous. I'm surprised they've never either reissued that Steelbook or done that series with a new Steelbook, new art for a Steelbook. Because the art on there is great. Alice does great work. I have her Series 10 Steelbook. I absolutely love her Doctor Who art. And there are ways you could reissue the Series 9 Steelbook and help the original release keep its value. You could change the logo to the Whitaker era logo or the 60th Diamond logo, you know, and not have it as the original Capaldi logo. That way the original release kind of retains its value. And if they don't want to go that route, they can just do new artwork. I would love to have Series 9 on Steelbook, even if it has new artwork, hopefully better than the Series 8 artwork for that Steelbook. Because as much as I like some of Sophie's Steelbooks, I didn't really care for that Season 8 one as much. It's okay. I do like the blue that she used for the background. But it just looks kind of thrown together, honestly. And the art of the Doctor on it is the exact same as the inside cover, the promotional material of him. There's just that picture used for the art, but she might not have known that when she was doing the art. But the Series 8 one was very disappointing. Definitely my least favorite of those first 8 series. And I don't know if sales reflected that for a lot of people or not. Maybe that's why they haven't done any more. The Series 11 Steelbook definitely needs to be redone. That Series 11 Steelbook is terrible. Like, as a poster, that was a cool image with their silhouettes, but as a Steelbook, it just looks garbage. It's easily the worst Steelbook overall. It needs a more traditional Steelbook, more like the older Steelbooks, or the Series 1 through 8 Steelbook. The Series 10 Steelbook is good. It was around long enough. I think most people have it. I have it, but I still think if they did another one with new art, people would jump on that. I'd be tempted myself because I believe the original Series 10 Steelbook doesn't have Twice Upon a Time on it. So if they released another one with Twice Upon a Time, I'd be tempted to get it. Plus, I just like, you know, Steelbooks. And then you could do Series 12 of Series 13 with fresh Steelbooks. Maybe even the last specials with Whitaker with a new Steelbook. I didn't really care for that one either. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they'll do on that. I would love to see the rest of the modern series from 9 on get new Steelbooks that fit in more with your first 8, so they look better on the shelf. Now, the problem with the classic series Steelbooks is that they really did fall into a trope of TARDIS on the front and villains or companions facing away on the back, which I don't really care for. It just gets monotonous. Each one of these Steelbooks is great individually. But once I noticed they had a pattern of, okay, it's going to have the front of the Steelbook's going to be the TARDIS with a background, you know, relevant to the episode. And the back's either going to be the villains or the Doctor and the companions. Usually the Doctor and the companions facing away, which is so uninteresting. And again, it's hit or miss. I really like when Macroterra did it because that one just looks nice and creepy. I like the Macroterra Steelbook. But I miss when they were more original. Like, I love the power of the Daleks one. It has that very 50s, 60s poster vibe to it, the way it looks with the Dalek on it. Even the faceless ones has that, you know, like it's trying to look like one of the postcards that it talks about in the episode. It has kind of a postcard look to it, which is different. You know, I like them doing something different with the classic Steelbooks. You know, do something original with them. Tie them into the story somehow. This bit just with the TARDIS on the front, villains on the back. It just seems cookie cutter, you know? I don't really care for that, seeing them all next to each other. So if they if we do actually get Smugglers and Underwater Menace like rumors suggest, or if that's just a red herring and we get some other episodes of Steelbooks, I'd like them to do something different with the Steelbooks. I'll never forget how underwhelmed I was by Abominable Snowmen Steelbook, which the art itself is fine on its own, but you look at the art for it and the art for the standard edition, and neither one of them come close to comparing to the art that was used for the vinyl release of Abominable Snowmen. That vinyl release of it looks so good. It really evokes, you know, the Thing vibes with the Yeti there and the two eyes piercing through from kind of the black. It almost looks like the black jacket from the Thing, that cover poster from the Thing. It looks creepy and scary, and I loved that artwork. That would have made a great Steelbook. And instead we got the more cartoony one. So I'd really like them to just try a little harder if they do some Steelbooks for the Smugglers or the Underwater Menace or whatever. I'd like them to put a little more effort into it. Moving on to the collection range. If Modern Who comes into the collection, should they take that opportunity to kind of revamp how they do the collection range? Like, is there anything they need to tweak or change? Especially since a lot of us consider Classic Who and Modern Who kind of separate beasts anyway. They really are two different beasts, basically. Much like how Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, while they're all set in the same universe, they're all very different things. They're different shows. You know, Classic Who and Modern Who really are two very different shows. So I know some people might want them to keep everything exactly the same because they want one continuous, you know, show on their shelves. And I get that. One, though, would they still be using the Whittaker era by then? Because if they did Modern Who in the collection range, I don't think they would start it until, well, at least 2025 for the 20th anniversary of Modern Who. But I honestly don't think they would start it until Classic Who wraps up. And I don't think the Classic Who collection range will wrap up until around 2027, 2028. So I could see them starting it maybe after that, around 2028 or so. Or they might wait and do 2030, because 2030 would be Modern Who's 25th anniversary. Although you have to wonder, you know, where physical media will be dead, or whether it will be dead or not by then, and if it will still be a viable format, and if there's still money for them to make going that route. And would they do Blu-ray sets or 4K sets? Especially with the first 4 series being upscales from standard definition of Modern Who. So by 2030, let's say they started them in 2030, would they still want to use the Whittaker logo? It would be, the logo itself would be so old by that point, or would they want to maybe take that opportunity to tweak a couple things? Now, I think you stay with the gray packaging. The gray packaging works. I like the fact dust doesn't show up very much on the gray packaging. I never really noticed them being dusty, like, say, a black packaging would, which would be annoying. But you could tweak a couple things about the basic layout if you wanted. You could change kind of how the disc trays are if you wanted. You could change the inside up a little bit with how the flaps and the booklets work. You could do some little tweaking at that point if you wanted to. But the main thing would be is, would you switch to a new logo? Now, you could do era-specific logos, but I hope they don't do that, especially considering how much I hate that Russell T. Davies logo from his first era, from the, like, Eccleston's Tennant years. I hate that Doctor Who logo with the orange background. It just looks terrible and cheap and awful. Probably my least favorite Doctor Who logo now that I think about it. Ooh. I'd rather just keep the Whittaker logo for the whole run if they're going to do that. No, I think if you do all 26 seasons of Classic Who and you do a Wilderness Years set, which the Wilderness Years set could have its own unique logo, like you could actually do the Paul McGann logo for it, especially if instead of stacking them, you did them to the sides, like this one is. That way it would kind of be the barrier between Classic Who and Modern Who. So you could have all of Classic Who, the Whitaker logo, the McGann set with its own McGann logo, and then you could have the Modern series in whatever the current logo is there, as long as they're willing to keep that for all of Modern Who, which who knows where Modern Who will also be by 2030. Will it have run its course by then? In which case they probably definitely wouldn't be putting out box sets. Because I think if Modern Who had stopped now, they wouldn't even be continuing the classic sets. And if Modern Who is still going, what season will it be on? What will its popularity be? But I think they should also pick one logo just for that collection range if they don't use this one. I would like to see Modern Who get the treatment eventually, get the, in the collection range. I would like to see that, because I would love to have Modern Who with this beautiful artwork. And I love giving Lee Pending more work. I'm sure he doesn't mind more work. Also, if the Modern series came out, would they jump around the way they do in Classic Who? With each season being kind of random, or we don't really know what's next, which honestly adds to the adventure and fun? Or would they just do them in chronological order, like, say, they did with the Steelbooks, once they actually started doing, like, the Series 1 Steelbook, where they did, 1, 2, 3, 4, the Tenant Specials, 5, 6, 7, the 50-year anniversary specials, and then Series 8? Or would they jump? Now, of course, we know one of the main reasons they jump around is because, the missing episodes with Season 6 and then some of Pertwee's stuff needing cleaning up. Plus, if you're going to start something like this and it's not a sure thing, better to start strong with a Tom Baker season to test the waters. And then a Peter Davison season to see if, people will buy other than just Tom Baker, especially since 19 had all of the surviving film elements, so it looks really good. I think that was clever, the way they did that. Now, with Modern Who, I think they could go either way. I like the idea of them randomly jumping around because it does make it more fun, wondering what's going to be next. But I could also see them doing it more sequentially, just so they have everybody, okay, we've got David in, let's go ahead and do his stuff for Series 2, 3, and 4. We've got Billy Piper in, let's go ahead and do Series 1 and 2 stuff for her. So it might make sense budget-wise to just do them in chronological order. And I'd be fine either way if they did that. I mean, if I got the announcement, hey, Series 1 is coming, I'd go, whoa. And then, of course, the announcement for Series 2. So either way, I'd be fine. But I would like to see Modern Who get the collection treatment at some point. At some point. And then for Classic Who, I've talked before about, going by the rumor mill, which ones seem like the next few choices. And, the ones that come up is, of course, at the time of recording this, Season 20 seems the most likely. We're supposed to get it in the summer. That's another even-numbered set. I've talked before on the channel about how it's really unbalanced, how we get so many more even-numbered sets than we do odd-numbered sets. I think of the first 13 we've gotten, only 4 have been odd numbers. I think like the other 9 have been even numbers, and the next one's supposed to be an even number. Somebody who works on these sets higher up must really like even numbers. But then if you look at the rumor mill, of the 4 even-numbered sets that would be left, which of course is 4, 16, 20, and I'm forgetting one. There's another one in there somewhere. Those are 6. Those are the ones that are rumored to be next. 3 of them are. The rumors going out are 20, which is all but confirmed that it's coming this year. The next Tom seems to be strong rumor is season 16, and the first Patrick, the strong rumor is season 6, since I believe Fraser Hines has mentioned having filmed behind the sofa for the mine robber. So it's interesting. And I'd really like to see another odd number season. That would be a fun way to throw a little wrench into things. Give me season 15 instead of 16. I would love to have 15. I would not argue with owning Horror of Fang Rock on Blu-ray, and I'm sure Ham could respect that. I can't talk today. I'm sure Ham would actually rather enjoy that, because Horror of Fang Rock's awesome. It would also give me a chance to watch Image of the Fendal again, because I've only seen that once, I think. Twice? I'm not sure. I think once. And it's such a good story. I've been wanting to rewatch it again. So I really, if there's only 4 even numbered sets left, I'd really like to have them spread out a little bit. I don't want to get 20, 16, and then 6. I'd rather like hold 16 back and give me 20, 15, and then 6. That'd be great because I do want a Troutman and I would like 6. I like season 6. So that would be really nice as well. Get me some odd numbered collection seasons out there. Go ahead and give me 15. I want 15. Give me 25 too. Let's go ahead and lock the McCoy era down. Have it finished off. So yeah, that's just kind of my rambling thoughts on the Steelbooks ranges at the moment and the collection range and potential Modern Who range at the moment. I'd like to know what you think of these topics, so comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out and I certainly appreciate it. And my goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, and we are on our way towards it. I'm quite excited. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. There's a link to that down in the description below. My patrons tend to get early access to a lot of videos, especially at the mid-tiers and up. I also kind of do fireside chats just where I kind of talk about what's going on in my life, stuff like that. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It does mean a lot that everyone who supports me there does. I really appreciate it. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.